Hello and welcome to my very quick gumnut video. You'll see as we go, I've already wound the wool around 3 of my fingers to make the stamens of the gumnut, and I've inserted a pipe cleaner through the middle of them. I've twisted them. With the pipe cleaner, I made one end longer than the other end and then folded it over so that there's no pointy bit at the very end. So that means the pipe cleaner is now attached to the wool, and then I'm using a little bit of the same coloured wool to tie it off about a third of the way up the red wool. I'm now using some of the Corriedale fleece, and I've wrapped that around twice, and now I'm putting an extra layer on because I felt like I needed a bit of extra, and I'm just using this now to secure it on. Notice the angle at which I'm using the needle to make sure that bottom bit leaves the little bit of stem clear. There we go, I'm showing you. And then I'm going to then work over the rest of the gumnut, just making sure that this base layer is an approximate shape to start with. Now about a third of the way down, I'm doing that lovely line that you get that gives the gumnut its unique shape. So I'm going all the way around. There you go. And now I'm going to hold back the red wool and go down onto the wool, the fleece that's in the gumnut. That kind of thickens up this top bit and helps it hold its shape. I do go over down to the side just to secure it as I go, but you can see that's starting to get a really nice shape, especially at the top now. It also secures that wool into place as well as we're going, because some of the fibres are going to travel through. As I'm doing this, the line sometimes starts to disappear a little bit, so I revisit the line and work around the line again. I've decided I want the gumnut a little bit fatter, so I'm going to put another layer over the top of that. Sometimes when you get the Corriedale, it's thinner or fatter depending upon who you've got it on. But now that I've got the basic shape there, you can see this next layer just goes on really easy. So I'm securing it into place, into the approximate shape I want. I'm not worrying too much about finishing it off here, just about making sure that those fibres stay in the position that I've put them in. And again, doing it at an angle at the base of the stem to make sure I'm still going to have room on the stem. Reinforcing that line again. And then I'll move back up to the top to push that bit down. At least that's what I think I'm about to do here. Anyway, I hope this is useful for you. There you go. That's a much better shape, isn't it, with a little bit of extra thickness on it. Now moving around and tidying up that top bit and keeping the line nice and tidy. I'll stop talking just for a little bit. Hard for me to do. Whilst you watch me tidying up. If I see anything else, I'll talk to you about it. I do suggest that you wear your finger protectors when you're doing this. I'm not, so that you can see it much more clearly, but you can see how close that needle's actually getting, especially to my thumb there. So at this point, I'm really starting to make sure that shape's nice and good, and now I'm shaping the gumnut itself, shaping it and making it firmer so that when I put it on the brooch, the wool's not going to pull out easily, and it's going to retain its beautiful shape and form for whoever's wearing it. Just for your information, this video is speeded up just 2 times, so you can see how quickly something like this can actually be made. Reinforcing the line, reinforcing the shape, remembering that the angle at which you stab is the angle that the wool will move. So if I'm wanting it to go up tighter, away from the stem, I'll be moving it in at a 45-degree angle there. And at the top, if I'm wanting to make the little rim of the gum nut thicker, I'm going to be going in from the top right next to the red wool. Now I'm doing the stem. So I've just got a small bit of wool and I'm putting it round as thin as I can, but I'm leaving fluff at the bottom and I'm having an overlay at the top. So first of all, I'm attaching it into the bottom to secure that wool in place. Sometimes I'll actually, if I've got a thinner piece of wool, I'll actually attach the wool at the base of the gum nut before I wind it round, and that stops it slipping. Although because I'm using pipe cleaners as opposed to just raw wire, it works. There I've folded the end bit over and then I'm stabbing right into the end to create a kind of little spongy bit on the end, and that stops the wire from sticking out. Now I'm just making the stem nice and thin by stabbing. Make sure you stab to each side of the wire, not directly on top of the wire, or you're likely to break your needle. More stabbing. We want this really nice and firm. Revisiting the end to make that neat. Again, I would normally have my finger protectors on at that point. But we want that end nicely and well felted so that that wire doesn't go and creep out. A little bit of a rub with your fingers can help smooth it off and also help you feel where some bits maybe aren't as felted as well as others. Making sure that shape is the shape that I want. And making it firmer as well so that it will last longer. So there we go, I'm really happy with the shape of that now. So using my clippers, or you can use scissors, I'm just trimming these off at the very end, and there we've got our lovely gum nut leaves. Now you could leave it as it is like this, but I like the real fluffy effect that you get when you actually split the yarn into the fibres that are within it. So you can see with this wool, each piece actually has 3 little fibres in it, so I'm using a needle to break those open, and you'll end up with this really fibrous flower. So that's where I'm stopping. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you.